Hello, I'm Charlene McLean, and I'm a member of the Miramichi Addiction, Mental Health, and Suicide Prevention Committee. On behalf of the committee, I have been interviewing various service providers in order to make folks in our region aware of the many different services and programs that are available to them. In today's Resource Spotlight segment, I am joined by Natalie Thibeau-Rector. Natalie is the Community Program Coordinator with the Canadian Mental Health Association of New Brunswick. Thanks so much for joining me today, Natalie.
Thanks for asking.
So we're going to get right into the questions. So first, can you tell me a little bit about the Canadian Mental Health Association of New Brunswick, its vision, its mission, and how long CMHA NB has existed in New Brunswick?
Yeah, so CMHA nationally first has been around since 1918. So we are an arm of the Canadian Mental Health Association nationally. So here in New Brunswick, let's start with how old we are. We've been here since 1950. So that makes us 72 years this year. 72.
That's awesome.
That is. I do like to point out that's them, not me personally. Although getting closer, just saying. So for mission, CMHA is a province-wide leader and champion for mental health, and they facilitate access to the resources that people require to maintain and to improve mental health and community integration, and also build resilience, support recovery from mental illness. See, every single one of us have mental health, so it makes it applicable for everybody. Their vision is to have mentally healthy people in a healthy society.
Great. And just so people know, I mean, we're in the greater Miramichi area, but could you talk to folks and let them know how many community program coordinators are across the province and where they're located geographically?
I can. Now, it almost amazes me, and I've worked for them for about 3 years now, but in a little province like New Brunswick, we have 14 different community program coordinators. They're located in Campbellton and Edmundston, Bathurst, Fredericton, Moncton, Miramichi, Grand Falls, Shippagan, St. John, Westmoreland and Albert counties, Shediac and Kent counties, Woodstock, Sussex, and Charlotte County.
Wow, that's great. And the reason why I wanted to make folks aware of that is that someone from outside our region may listen to this interview and know that they can access the programs through their community program coordinator in whatever region they are in New Brunswick. So that's really great. So now we're going to start talking about the various programs and services offered by CMHA New Brunswick. Folks will get to know that we might not talk about every single program because they are going to be surprised at the vast array of programs and services that are offered to New Brunswickers, for the most part, free of charge. So let's start with Living Life to the Full. So what is the program? Who is its intended target group? Is there a cost associated? So if you could give us a little bit of information on that program to start with, that would be great.
Okay, so to begin with, I really liked your comment earlier about different areas, and so all of these programs are offered in every one of our areas. So great. I'm going to talk about what's available here, but no, it's also available in Charlotte County.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
So Living Life to the Full. Now, Living Life to the Full is a cognitive behavioral therapy type program. So many times when we're feeling unwell, our thinking gets distorted and we get trapped in what's known as a vicious circle, where everything we do kind of leads to this continual negative slide. Okay. And the concept of living life to the full says, if we change just one of those components, and we have 4 different components, we can change it all. So who is it good for? Really, mostly it's for people with anxiety or depression, which are the 2 top mental health challenges that people struggle with. Can be situational, and it can be a chronic condition, but this helps with all of them. It's really great to know we offer it for adults, we offer it for youth, we offer it for the Indigenous population, we offer it for seniors. So it's very tailorable, I'll say. So now, oftentimes in many of our programs, and most of them that we're going to talk about today, are ones that do have a bit of charge involved with them. But this is 8 weeks at an hour and a half a session, okay? So it takes a lot of work, and you're given a booklet for every single week that you attend. So we do receive subsidies, and some of them will be free, but there's a select number. And then once we reach that subsidy, then we have to start charging.
Okay.
So per individual, it's $50. So if you think about it, 8 weeks for $50, and you get 9 different booklets and all the handouts, it's not too bad.
No, exactly.
So, and each of these sessions is about an hour and a half. So it covers a lot of territory.
Perfect.
It covers a couple of topics, Charlene, things like, why do I feel so bad? I can't be bothered doing anything. And it works all the way through all these negative emotions to the very last one that says 10 things you can do to feel happier straight away.
Okay, perfect. Sounds like a great program. I know I've heard lots of positive feedback in the region from folks that have attended. So great. So that's living life to the full. So now we're going to go to dependency to recovery program. What's that program about?
Well, dependency to recovery is a program that is for people struggling with addiction.
Okay.
So when we move from dependency of that object that we're dependent on to living in recovery. Now, this program is funded through Alcohol New Brunswick.
Okay.
And it is done by an outside facilitator. So we hire somebody with a clinical degree who knows much about the dependency to recovery route. It is 8 weeks, and it is 2 hours per week. And this one is absolutely free of charge.
Perfect. So that's another great program. So now let's talk about another program. So tell us a little bit about the Co-workers First program, because I've seen it advertised quite a bit lately on social media. So tell the folks a little bit about that program. So
Co-workers First. Now, this is relatively new to us. We had one before that was working stronger together, but this has been updated and renewed. And this is designed for management, HR staff, supervisors, anybody who works with somebody who may be living with a mental illness. So it tells us how to look for the unhealthy behaviors. It tells us about families who live with it. We explore the mental health continuum. We're specifically looking at it in the workplace, okay? We look for practical strategies, support, and communication. And we also talk about preventing crisis, burnout, and suicide.
Okay. And I would assume that you provide, the personnel or the organization or the employer supervisor information on the resources and what's
absolutely
available in this region.
They are given an entire workbook, And as we go through it and we're covering, take this one out. You'll want this one in your resource finder. Take this one out. And at the end of it, at the end of each section, so there are 4 modules, it takes an entire day for this program, okay? It can be done virtually, and oftentimes when done virtually, we'll do 2 mornings so that you're not sitting in front of your computer screen all day. But at the end of each one, we cite resources where they can find for each of these components.
Great. That's really great, because a lot of times there are resources available, but folks are just not aware of what the resources that are available to them. So it's great that that's looked at. So there's another program called Mental Health Works. I believe that that program is aimed at reducing stigma, but what else can you tell us about that specific program?
Well, this program is a nationally standardized workshop, okay? And its goal is to reduce stigma and enhance understanding of mental health in the workplace. Notice they said mental health, not mental illness, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the workshop provides participants a holistic understanding of mental health and of mental illness. Again, this one is 4 modules. It touches on awareness building, responding skills, a collaborative change. Okay. And we talk about the social determinants of health and how mental health fits into the context of overall health.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay, so that sounds like another great program. And then there's a 2-day program that's offered, which is called Changing Minds. What can you tell us about that program?
okay, so Changing Minds is, and again, this one has just been updated, so that's nice to know, but it's an innovative multi-use mental illness education program. And it really is about changing our minds so that we stop viewing it as, oh my word, I don't want to catch that, and seeing it as just another component of our health. And this is 2 full, very full days with video presentations of people with lived experience of mental illness telling about their journey. Some of the modules are understanding mental health and mental illness, living with a diagnosis, understanding depression, understanding anxiety, understanding psychosis, understanding mania and mood swings, understanding complex mental health problems, and understanding addictions and using our skills.
Okay, I know it's a really great program because I've attended the program before, and I think one of the important components that I feel is talking about mental health and mental illness, because a lot of the times folks think that it's the same, but it's not. So it's important to educate folks in community on the differences.
Yeah, I think where some of that comes from is, in order to make mental illness not sound so scary, we change the terminology and therefore create a different type of stigma, because now we can't say mental health, and people get all up in arms.
So I know that you've begun to offer the 2-day assist, which is applied suicide intervention skills training in our region. So what do you say is the objective of the program, and how could community members benefit from attending the training?
I believe the term they use is creating a suicide safer community. So it really is about recognizing, being equipped, and not afraid to ask the difficult questions, and really looking for, hearing the story and looking for that turning point that allows people to say, oh, I did say that. Maybe I don't want to die.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is a very heavy training. It is so essential. It is so essential. I've done just 2 of the trainings thus far. We've had a real lack of training in this area. We had a global pandemic and it wasn't happening. And the feedback that we've received has been tremendous.
Mhm. So essentially, I guess when we talk about the assist, you talked about the invitations and the turning point and all that. It's also to equip folks with how to do an intervention,
Absolutely.
right? And it's a little bit different from Safe Talk, which we're going to talk about now, which is another suicide prevention program available in the region. So maybe give us a little bit of information on how it's different from the assist and who could benefit from attending. And the reason I ask that is in case there's folks, you know, that are listening that would like to have some training in suicide prevention or intervention, I'd like them to know the difference. So then they might say, oh, well, maybe, you know, I should attend this program versus this program, depending on what their needs are for the training. So yeah, give us a little bit more information on the differences and who could benefit from the Safe Talk training.
Okay. So Safe Talk, I'm quite newly trained at this one. Looking forward to our first session. Actually, Charlene, you and I took our training at the same time, so
Yes,
we'll be working together on that. From my understanding now, Safe Talk is really, I'll say, the precursor or the running up to the assist. So we learn to recognize that somebody may be struggling, that they're contemplating, and we use the tools that we are given to get them to somebody who is assist trained. Okay. So the information, well, it's the difference between a half day and 2 full days.
Mm-hmm.
Again, really good information. And if we work in a place and we may not feel comfortable going the entire way, when we have the Safe Talk training, we then can recognize and refer them to somebody who has the assist training or is equipped to do a suicide intervention.
Mm-hmm. And I think one thing that it's important for folks to know is that anyone can take the assist training or the Safe Talk training, specifically the assist, because that's where one learns how to do an intervention. But a lot of folks are under the impression that only clinicians, like, you know, social workers or psychologists or psychiatrists can do an intervention. And that's simply not true.
No, I would like to see, because it's all about what I want to see, right? I would like to see every workplace have at least one assist trained individual and several Safe Talk trained individuals. And when I look at the larger centers who maybe have shift work, then I would like one person on each shift to have an assist training.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, when we talk about CPR, for example, that's to save a life when someone's having a heart attack. The assist is the same concept, except we're looking at when someone's life is at risk because of thoughts of suicide. And it would be really great for a lot of folks within the region to be trained and have knowledge and to have more open conversation about suicide.
I believe they call it suicide first aid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So thanks for that information. We're going to talk about another program now. The Kids Have Stress 2 program is also available to folks. What can you tell us about that program?
So this program has been developed to help parents and teachers, early childhood education practitioners, and caregivers to understand and promote effective social emotional development and stress management strategies. Because as the title says, kids have stress too. So this program is grounded in the science of early childhood and brain development, and also in the day-to-day reality of early learning and care settings.
Mhm.
So,
And sometimes we don't recognize as parents, speaking as a parent, that, you know, our child may be living with stress, but it is a reality. Everything's so fast. And then we had the pandemic the last few years. And, you know, there was a whole bunch of factors that come in when we talk about stress. So,
right. And so the great thing about this, Charlene, is we start all the way down preschool resources and they go up to grades 4 to 6.
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. So now we're going to talk about yet another new program, which is fairly new. It's called the Bounce Back program, which was launched during the pandemic. So who is the program geared for, and what is the program all about?
Okay. So we talked earlier about Living Life to the Full, which was a cognitive behavioral therapy based program. Bounce Back is also a cognitive behavioral therapy program. So, yeah, in January, it'll be 2 years that it's been enrolled here in New Brunswick. Right now, New Brunswick is offering it for people 19 years and older. There is a program for children, youth as well, 15 plus, I think it is. The demand has been so high for the adults that we haven't been able to do the youth yet. They just keep hiring more bounce back staff to keep up with the demand for the adults. The
Okay.
goal is to get to the youth.
Right.
So this is an absolutely free program. It requires zero traveling because it's all done either through telephone connection or online videos, and it's done at your own pace.
Okay, great.
So what you'll have is a coach checking in with you from time to time. How are you making out? Now, the great thing about this program is it is a referral-based program, but you can self-refer.
Awesome.
So
Mhm.
the only stipulation is that you must have a primary healthcare provider.
Okay.
So it can be a licensed practical nurse, it can be a family doctor, but you must have one. And participants receive some type of support within 5 business days of the referral. It's available in English and French. And again, as stated before, there's absolutely zero traveling required.
Okay, that's great. And one thing I guess I just wanted to make folks aware of, when Natalie talks about cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT short, that's all based around the way that we think. Cognitive means the way that we think, just so folks know. And Natalie had already mentioned earlier that when we change the way we think, that has a spiral effect on our behaviors, actions. As she said before, it was a vicious circle. So I just wanted to let folks know, in case they weren't aware of what cognitive behavioral therapy means. One thing that I've noticed on CMHA New Brunswick's website is that there is a Wellbeing Learning Center. What's the purpose of the Wellbeing Learning Center? And can you list some of the courses that folks have access to on that, in that learning center? Okay,
so the New Brunswick Wellbeing Learning Center is relatively new to us. We've been doing it about a year. It's based on the recovery college models that a lot of provinces do. We opted for the name, the Wellbeing Learning Center, because we want everybody to feel comfortable in accessing the programs. So I'm going to list some of the programs that we've done in the past. This program changes almost every time they offer one. So some of them may be repeated again. Some of them will be new. So we kind of listen to what's going on and try to garner programs that are going to fit with what's happening in our communities. Okay. So some of the ones that we've done are 8 strategies to manage stress and emotions, challenging loneliness and isolation, wellness tools for the new normal, maintaining wellness on the job, and self-care for caregivers. Now, let's take one of those programs. Let's say the 8 strategies to manage stress and emotions. We offer it 4 different times. Okay, we'll do a morning or an afternoon and an evening to make it so that people who work can access it. It's done in English and it's done in French. So everybody has an opportunity to be able to access these programs. And that is for every single one of those that we list. Okay.
That's great. And it's like you said, it's good to have them different times so folks can access them, you know, when it's more appropriate or when it fits into their schedule. Another CMHA New Brunswick resource are the wellness webinars. I know some are listed on your website. There's also an array of pre-recorded webinars on the CMHA of New Brunswick's YouTube page. Can you list some of the webinars to make folks aware of the various topics that are covered in the webinars?
Yeah. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a couple of the Wellness Wednesdays, a couple of the Mindful Mondays, and then a few of our core presentations that are presented. And then I'm about to blow your socks off. So just wait for it now. So we have Wellness Wednesdays, Healthy Living. Wellness Wednesdays, What is Grief? So you can see it's a wide variety of topics that they cover. Then we have Mindfulness Mondays, and there are 8 different sessions of the Mindful Mondays. Okay. We have on there suicide awareness, understanding challenging behaviors in dementia, positive attitude, the coping toolbox. And I know one shouldn't have favorites, but that kind of is mine, the coping toolbox. It's just chock-a-block full of things that we can do ourselves at home to make ourselves feel better. We have breathing techniques. We have sleeping rituals, like all different things. Here's the part that's going to kind of blow you away. We have 223 videos on almost any topic that you might be looking for on our YouTube channel.
I knew there was a lot because when I went through the YouTube page and I'm just blown away, you know, anxiety, stress, aging, coping with change. Those are just a few examples in French and in English.
Yes.
Which is great for, you know, everyone throughout the province.
They even offer like story time for young children. They're all mental health books that they do. They do crafting at Christmas time. So when we're feeling lonely, we have something we can turn to.
I've also noticed videos, music for the mind, that are mental health based or with entertainers from around the province. So that's just really great. There's just so many resources. CMHA is definitely a champion when it comes to mental health and taking care of New Brunswickers. That's for sure. I know that we've talked a lot, and it can be overwhelming when we look at all the information, but is there any information that we haven't touched on that you'd like to share with folks that are watching the interview?
The bulk of what I do is our core presentations. Okay. Those are absolutely free. We can go and do lunch and learns. We can go and do like a mental health Monday, or they're absolutely free of charge. They're about an hour each session. There are a couple of them that are a little longer, like an hour and a half, but the vast majority are an hour. And honestly, all they need to do is reach out to me and I'd be glad to be able to help them out. So that is something that happens. And in those, we do sessions on mindfulness, mental health and resiliency, understanding anxiety, understanding depression. So pretty much if there's a topic out there, we probably cover it.
That's great. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share some coordinates on the screen, so folks can see where to contact you. So you can see it says Natalie Thibeau-Rector. Her number is 506-808-1821. And then you have her email address right below, natalie.thibeau/rector@gnb.ca. So that's her email and her telephone number. Then we're going to talk about, Natalie has a local Facebook page, so CMHA, so it's titled CMHA NB Miramichi and Region, that's local. Then if you're looking for the Canadian Mental Health Association of New Brunswick's page, you just type in Canadian Mental Health Association of New Brunswick and it will, on social media, and it will bring up the page. The Canadian Mental Health Association of New Brunswick, if you type that in, you can find their YouTube page. And then to find their website, it's CMHA NB. So I'll just leave that on for a few seconds so folks can see that information. Yeah, so I just want to make folks aware that there's a resource available in New Brunswick now since October of 2020, which is called 211NB. I encourage everyone to call 211NB if you're unsure of available services, programs in our communities. The service is free of charge, confidential, and open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Not only specifically for mental health. You could be looking for housing. You could be looking, you may be food insecure or know someone that's food insecure. It can be for any type of service. They have a bank of information on a variety of services. So please reach out to 211NB. You just reach them by dialing 211 on your phone. Natalie, thank you so much for joining me today. And to everyone that's viewing the Resource Spotlight segment, please stay well and take care. And hopefully we'll get to see you soon with a different resource to give you some more information. Thanks so much and have a great day.